Friday, November 22, 1963. The American flag was lowered as the 35th president was assassinated. 3 years later, July 16, 1999, his family met another tragedy as his son, along with his wife and sister-in-law, died in a plane crash. The debris of the plane was found in the Atlantic Ocean near Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. In this groundbreaking documentary, we are going to unravel the tragic death of John F. Kennedy Jr. Let the story begin. In the chilly month of November, the year 1960, a new member was welcomed into the Kennedy family. His name was John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. He arrived just weeks after his father, bearing the same name, rose to power as the 35th President of the United States.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
A heart-wrenching image of his third birthday, however, is imprinted in many minds. On that day, he was seen at his father's funeral, lifting a salute to the assassinated president's coffin, a moment captured forever in the stirring photograph. He grew up alongside his sister, Caroline, under the watchful care of their mother, Jacqueline, amidst the hustle and bustle of Manhattan. Upon completing his education at Brown University, he briefly dipped his toes into the world of acting, only to be lured back into the world of law. His journey led him to New York University Law School, and after 3 attempts, he finally conquered the bar exam. Once a licensed attorney, he joined the ranks of New York's assistant district attorneys, showing an impressive record by winning all 6 cases he tackled. But his ambitions didn't stop there. In 1955, he launched a political magazine called George, which rapidly gained popularity, boasting a readership of over 400,000. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. was a constant feature in the media, praised for the stunning good looks he had received from his parents. People magazine even bestowed upon him the title of Sexiest Man Alive in 1988. His charm did not go unnoticed, as he was often romantically involved with several high-profile figures, including Hollywood actress Daryl Hannah. Their romance spanned 5 years before it ended. In the fall of 1996, he said his vows to Caroline Bissett, a woman known in the fashion world as a publicist. They created a home together in an apartment in the heart of the New York City. Kennedy could frequently be spotted in the city, joyfully in line skating in public. Although he was known for his spirit of adventure, Kennedy was cautious about his reputation. He carefully distanced himself from the more harmful behavior seen in other men from the renowned Kennedy family. George, the magazine that John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. launched with much enthusiasm in 1995, a year before his wedding to Bissett, was hitting a rough patch. Edward Klein, in his book The Kennedy Curse: Why Tragedy Has Haunted America's First Family for 150 Years, claimed that George was projected to face almost a $10 million loss in 1999. A founding partner of the magazine, Michael Berman, had just parted ways with the publication. Moreover, the publisher Hachette seemed to be losing enthusiasm for the title. Consequently, Kennedy found himself in search of new financial backing for his venture. The magazine was not only a business concern for Kennedy, but also a source of strife in his marriage. Bissett felt that George was taking up too much of her husband's time. As Kennedy toiled away at the office, Bissett was left alone in their Tribeca apartment, constantly under the scrutiny of paparazzi. Bissett struggled with the intense media attention, which was a stark contrast to Kennedy, who had been under the spotlight since birth. Kathy McKeon, Kennedy's mother's formal personal assistant, remembers in her book, Jackie's Girl, My Life with Kennedy Family, that Bissett found it very challenging to deal with the constant media presence. She confessed to being terrified of them, something that Kennedy had grown accustomed to, As they were approaching their third anniversary, Kennedy expressed a desire to start a family. But according to author Klein, Bissett wasn't ready. She was quoted saying, "I hate living in a fish bowl," expressing her discomfort with the high-profile lifestyle. "John may be comfortable living like this, but I'm not. How could I bring a child into this kind of world?" Amidst these marital tensions and a struggling business, Kennedy was also dealing with personal loss. His cousin and best man at his wedding, Anthony Radziwill, was seriously ill with cancer, which greatly upset Kennedy. On the night of July 16, 1999, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. took to the skies, armed with around 300 hours of flying experience under his belt. He departed from the Essex County Airport in New Jersey, piloting a single-engine plane into a hazy, moonless night. Despite an offer from one of his flight instructors to accompany him, Kennedy opted to fly solo, determined to do it alone. His planned journey was a 200-mile trip to Martha's Vineyard, with the last stretch of flight over a dark, murky ocean, challenging conditions for even the most seasoned pilots. With no shore lights or landmarks visible, he was left to rely on his aircraft's instruments, despite not holding a license to fly with instruments only. To complicate matters, Kennedy was still nursing a broken ankle, which could have hindered his piloting abilities. His plan was to stop over at Martha's Vineyard to drop off his sister-in-law Lauren Bissett, before proceeding to Kennedy residence in Hyannis Point on Cape Cod with his wife Carolyn. They were expected at the wedding of Rory Kennedy, the youngest of Robert F. Kennedy's children. However, the Piper Saratoga aircraft never reached Martha's Vineyard. Later analysis of radar data revealed the plane plunging from 2,200 feet to 1,100 feet within just 14 seconds, a rapid descent far exceeding aircraft safe limits. Moments later, it vanished from radar screens. When Kennedy's plane failed to arrive, worried friends and family alerted authorities, triggering a massive search and rescue mission involving the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Air Force, and many civilian volunteers. After 2 days of relentless search with no survivors found, the focus shifted to recovery efforts. The tragic event shook America as they mourned the loss of the Crown Prince of Kennedy clan, a loss made all the more tragic by the numerous tragedies that have plagued the family over the years. On July 21, Navy divers finally located the wreckage of the plane, submerged in 116 feet of water about 8 miles from the Vineyard's coast. They retrieved the bodies of JFK Jr., his wife, and his sister-in-law. The next day, a somber ceremony was held aboard the Navy destroyer, the USS Briscoe, where the cremated remains of the three were laid to rest at sea. A private mass was held 2 days later at the Church of St. Thomas More in Manhattan, the place of worship for Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Among the 300 invitees were President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton. A heartfelt eulogy was delivered by the surviving patriarch of the Kennedy family, Senator Edward M. Kennedy, reflecting on John's life as part of the American family and cherished part of their shared legacy. The subsequent investigation into the crash found no issues with the Piper Saratoga's mechanical or navigational systems. In their final report published in 2000, the National Transportation Safety Board attributed the crash to the pilot's inexperience, leading to disorientation in the dark and subsequent loss of control. Edward Klein's book reveals that on Wednesday, July 14, Kennedy, Bissett, and her sister Lauren shared a meal together at Stanhope Hotel. The lunch was planned by Lauren, who was worried about the couple living separately. It was during this meeting that Lauren proposed joining them on their Friday evening flight. The day before the tragic plane crash, Kennedy made a visit to his orthopedic surgeon at Lenox Hill Hospital. He was there to get a cast taken off his ankle, which had been broken weeks earlier during a paragliding mishap. Even though the cast was removed, his ankle was still in a delicate state. necessitating the continued use of crutches. After his death, the Kennedy family once again found themselves at the center of a national tragedy, and the nation began to mourn the loss of a man many considered America's crown prince. The news of his death added to the series of tragedies that the Kennedy family had endured, causing many to reference the Kennedy curse. Subscribe to the channel to unravel more blues from the world of adventure and tragedy. By clicking on this video link popping up, you can explore the tragic events leading to the death of experienced hiker Geraldine Largay. I'm looking forward to catch you there. Goodbye.